So, what has our favourite Chinese multi-hyphenate explorer been up to this week? Find out on the YIBO Weekly. Let's not beat around the bush. The big news this week is Exploring the Unknown 2. We have a release date. There was a whole bunch of materials came out on Monday. The release date is the 28th of November. That will be episode 1 for the SVIPs is releasing on Friday the 28th. For the rest of the plebs with the 10 cent, it's on Saturday, so it's going to be showing 2 episodes a week through the first 2 weeks of January. So it's 14 episodes, 7 weeks, and it's playing Friday, Saturday for SVIPs and Saturday, Sunday for VIPs. So it's playing, starting the first episode for the advanced screeners is on the 28th of November. And we've got a trailer, and there was, and I put that up on the channel, but then I took it down again because YIBO official in a staggering departure remembered that they have a YouTube channel, and so they actually put it up on their own YouTube channel. And so I'm not going to be competing with YIBO official, so there's a link in the description if you haven't seen the trailer yet. There was also a short version of the trailer that got put up in a couple of places. I think it was on Instagram, I think it was on Douyin. That one didn't get onto the YIBO official page, so I have got that one up on my channel. There was posters and there was all sorts, and this came out a little bit of a drip feed throughout the day on Monday. And one of the other big announcements was that there was going to be a live stream, which has happened yesterday, to announce a whole bunch of stuff. I managed to get into the live stream, which was very exciting because I don't always manage these things. They started a little later than they announced. When I say a little later, they started like nearly 15 minutes later than I announced. And the chat, which I had the chat on to translate to English, and the chat was just getting extremely amusing with the commentary going on, with everybody hanging around waiting for it to happen. But they did eventually arrive, and then the whole thing went for like an hour and a half, basically. And there were 4 of the guides that came and were part of the live stream with YIBO yesterday. So last year there was a new guide for each week, and there were 6 weeks, and so there were 6 guides. There were 6 themes and there were 6 guides. I don't 100% know if that is the way it's going to work this time. It seems like almost 95% of everything in the live stream was in Chinese, and there was no I imagine bits and pieces of it will be translated and put up with subtitles or something at some point, but I as of yet I don't. The only bits that I know are the bits that I saw people talking about in the chat, and there were a couple of things in the live stream that were in English. The Discovery boss was one of the people who spoke at the beginning of it, and he spoke in English, but they were all relatively general remarks. One of the guides, Ryder Stroud, speaks English as his first language, but most of his part of the thing was in Chinese, although by the end of it I think he'd run out of spoons and his final remarks were in English. So there, and Jimmy Chin, who is the director of Exploring the Unknown Season 2, wasn't at the live stream, but he sent a recorded message and he spoke in English because, of course, Exploring the Unknown 2 took part in North America, and the way that the other guides were nodding along song when Ryder Stroud was speaking in English suggests to me that almost all of them are like bilingual. As is YIBO, I think, at this point, pretty much. So good on our boy. Okay, what haven't I said? There's so many details. I can't tell you everything, but we'll hit a few things. One of the things that I spent all that time talking about last week is Du Hua and Yuhua Entertainment, and is he or isn't he still with them? And I can answer that relatively categorically now. Yes, he is. Du Hua was at the live stream last night, and she got up and spoke. She was the second person who got up and spoke. So yeah, he's still very much with Yuhua as we speak. So that's one thing that I can tell you. What are they going to be doing in this thing? Well, there's lots more rock climbing, that's for certain. There's also fishing. That was something that I didn't know. They did a photo shoot associated with the live stream yesterday, and YIBO Official put out some lovely pictures, and it's actually a really fun photo shoot. It's got a number of like poses that are a little bit out of the box. So that was fun. And one of they've got him playing with a fishing rod for a few of the pictures. And yes. So fishing, rock climbing, there is definitely, wakeboarding, I think, is in the, one of the trailers. They've got him doing something on a board in the ocean. They've certainly also got some sea stuff, and there may be another thing that they're doing with water. I'm not 100% certain. And more details will appear. I'm sure everybody who speaks Chinese and watched that live stream knows so much more than I do, but here we are. I am taking my Chinese lessons, but I'm not up to native speed listening comprehension just yet. One other thing that I found out from watching the live stream last night is that one of the people from last year has returned. I think there was definitely one of the guides last night who was there is one of the guides from last year. I think it was the caving guy. I think that's my best guess. So I'm assuming he was there because he's also in season 2. So that's fun. And that's that. That's the big news. As I said, there was photos came out, and there was like YIBO Official also put out a little bit of behind the screens footage from the photo shoot. So I think we might play that at the very end of this video once I've run through all the other things to talk about. But there were a few other pieces of news, so we're going to move on. So what other things happened this week in YIBOverse? Vogue chose him as best dressed of the week, which is, of course, almost always true. So on your Vogue, came out yesterday a notice from YIBO's lawyers saying that they are pursuing another case, or not another case, but continuing pursuing a case because there was one of the people that a finding was made against by the courts, finding that they had defamed YIBO, essentially, did not do the things that the court required them to do, and in reparation, and so the lawyers made a statement saying that they were pursuing it further. So yes, great. Some hater anti-fan on Weibo has either forgotten to read their mail or has dug their heels in, or some third mysterious thing has happened. Anyway, that's going on. This is so weird. I still can't quite wrap my head around it. There was a thing came out again. I think it might have been yesterday, or maybe it was Monday. Anyway, a thing came out with YIBO speaking to camera for this piece. For the English title on it was Boost Night. And it's according to the post, it's an inaugural award or event or something that's about influence like spokespeople, and I don't know who's running it and what its deal is, but like YIBO has more endorsements in China currently than anyone. So he's the obvious face of this thing, but I don't know what the thing is. But anyway, that happened. Link below if anybody's interested. Defenders of the Hidden. Have I remembered that right? Yeah, Defenders of the Hidden, the Pangolin documentary that Wild Aid made with YIBO's cooperation that came out last year. Yeah, it was last year. That has won an award. So I talked about it last week because it was being shown at the 100 Flowers Golden Rooster Film Festival, but it's just been announced it got an award, public, I can't remember the language around it. There's some award for, public spirited documentary, and the title of the award is Yellow River something. And anyway, Defenders of the Hidden won the award for 2025. So congratulations to Wild Aid and the Defenders of the Hidden and all those little pangolin people. It was awesome, by the way. If you haven't seen it, it's so kind of cute and also informative and not too long, and it's great. It's up on YouTube on Wild Aid's channel. If you haven't seen it, I strongly encourage you to go and have a look at the pangolins. They're gorgeous. And one last thing before we move on is that YIBO was on Instagram. He liked a post by a fellow climber, Tim Emmett, who they are mutuals on Instagram, and that happened during the time period that Exploring the Unknown 2 was being filmed. So there was speculation that he was part of that. I don't know. We'll find out shortly whether that's true. But anyway, he had quite an emotional post on Instagram about finishing a project that he'd been working on, and YIBO liked it. So there you go. He's a good friend. He's a good friend. And that brings us up to brand stuff. Well, there's even big news for brand stuff this week. If the thing about Exploring the Unknown hadn't happened, this is what my video this week would have all been about. And so now I'm going to have to rush it into like a minute. A brand new endorsement. Well, even more exciting, a re-up of an endorsement that had lapsed. Thursday, late last week, as the new global brand ambassador for UGG, the shoe clothing people who do things with sheepskin. Okay, this isn't the first time YIBO's been with UGG. I've already processed a lot of my emotions as an Australian seeing the high fashion UGG boots that YIBO, I can't not mention it. For anybody who doesn't know, the company that YIBO is endorsing is not an Australian company, but the history of this whole thing is Australian. There's actually quite a lot of ructions, has been a lot of ructions and legal battles and stuff about the use of that name and stuff. But anyway, when I was a kid, UGG boots, I actually made UGG boots as a school project at one point, because I took textiles to a certain level, and UGG boots, when I was a kid, every bogan and their dog had UGG boots, and they are not classy and they are not streetwear. They are something you wear it at home. They're home clothes. And so the whole high fashion UGG boot thing, which I know did not start with YIBO, but nevertheless, all of it is just very, very weird. And now I've said I wasn't going to talk about it, and I've talked about it again. But anyway, we're moving on. We're moving on from that. So the campaign launch announced YIBO as the global brand ambassador, and it announced another guy as not a global, but as a brand ambassador who was brand new, and they were both brought on at the same time. And there was actually a joint promotional campaign, and the big ad has both of them in it. The guy is Su Yiming. So Su Yiming is a Chinese athlete, a snowboarder. He won a gold medal at the Olympics. He's quite a big deal. And he also was a child actor before he kind of got seriously into sports. He's only 21, but he and YIBO have crossed paths before, and as alongside the main ad, they had UGG produced a kind of like side-by-side interview of the two of them talking together, and it was very cute. They seem to get along really well, so it's nice that UGG have done this package of them, two of them together, and I wish them all the best. So that was the big brand story of the week. I have a feeling, and I don't know if this is true, I have a feeling that the brands were told that the ETU thing was coming. And so it's been quite a bit of a lull. And then when the announcement post came out, a bunch of brands reposted it, and a couple of them have even done like connected things. Tempo brought out an episode guide for exploring the unknown, but they've done their own version of it with the Tempo background and YIBO Tempo pictures on it. So yes, a number of it's been a relatively quiet week brand wise, and I think it's because people were waiting to kind of like join forces with this big ETU publicity thing. However, one that I will mention apart from UGG is Lacoste. Lacoste released a bunch of pictures, and there were two different outfits, and one of them was this gorgeous purple outfit, and that is actually the shot that Vogue chose for Best Dressed of the Week, so can't not mention that one. That's the news. Looking forwards, we have Exploring the Unknown, which is really only a week and a bit away. And I don't 100% know quite how it's going to be like watchable. I should have really explained this up the top. Discovery have co-produced it with Tencent. So within the release timetable is for Tencent within China, and then Discovery have the rights for it outside of China. And Discovery did not release it worldwide. They only released it in a select number of markets. Maybe, given that this is set in North America, maybe it will get a broader release. We just have to wait and see. So last time, there was quite a bit of people put it up on YouTube. Fans watched it on YouTube, downloaded it from YouTube, and then it disappeared from YouTube. And there were fan subs that went up and went down and went up and went down. And we just have to wait and see. But once it exists in the world, I fully trust that the internet will bring the bounty to me, and if I find it, I will let you know. Anyway, that's all the news. There's so much news that I've talked for a million years. I need to stop now. I hope you're all very well, and I hope you have a wonderful YIBO Wednesday.